Hi guys, Squall here. Welcome back to another episode of my Let's Play of Transport Fever 2. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of this content. I hope you're enjoying it so far. Our goal, our objective is to get to $1 billion. We're currently on 13 million, so we have a long way to go. $1 billion and connecting all the cities on this map. We are in hard mode, which certainly makes the finances a lot more tricky. And as you can see, it's quite a big map. There's a lot of cities to connect, so it's going to take us a little while. The video description does have a link to the Steam collection that has all the mods that I'm using, if you want to follow along, and also the details of the map seed itself, if you want to sort of have a bash yourself at the exact same map as I'm using here. Now, in the last episode, we kind of built out a bit more efficiently our oil network. As you can see, the problems got worse. We kind of half expected this. When the thing leveled up, it just starts spewing out crude oil like it's Texas, and we can't really move it. Now, we could do something about it. We've built up a little bit of cash down here, and I've got the loan down to 4 million, so we're doing well financially. We could upgrade some of these trains on the line. You can see, just to show you something in particular, this train has a maximum speed of 50 k's, and let me just speed the line up a bit. It looks like it's going stupid slow. From Loughton up to Mablethorpe is an incline, so this train never gets to 50 k's. On the way back, as you can see, it gets straight to 50 k's, and they're both full either way. But there's an incline going up. So in theory, what we should now do is replace this locomotive and perhaps even the tanks behind it, because it has the small ones, with something else. But that's one route we could take, and you could certainly do that. You could put faster, higher capacity trains on this entire line, and that's definitely one thing to do. I looked into it. Manage vehicle, if we go to replace, we would probably go with something like an A35 or a BR75 bad. One of these two would give us, well, particularly the A35, gives a chunky amount of tractive effort. They are expensive, though. To build a train, just one train, is about $8 million. So to replace both trains on that line, or even just one of them, it's a lot of money. It would wipe us out again, and then we'd have to wait for money to come back. What I propose to do instead, and this is a balanced decision, this, is instead we will focus on building our food network and get Thatcham online. We are going to have to accept that we are not moving all of the goods that we can move out of this crude oil well right now. We're not making as much money as we could make, but we are making good money, a healthy profit. There's more stuff than we can move, and the work it'll balance out to whatever it balances out. It's more important for us strategically to start growing other cities at this point, because we want to start connecting these things with passengers, and to do that we need to sort of grow them together. This one is now up to, 377. It's kind of found its balance now. It's not going anywhere. We really need to trainify this, as I like to say. I don't think that's even a verb, but I like to say it anyway. I like to trainify and tramify things. We need to trainify this one. But what I want to do is sort this out that we discussed last time, where we start moving grain into alcohol and then take it up here, make it into food, and then we can bring the food into Thatcham and Loughton. That's going to make us good money, but that's going to require quite a bit of investment, because this is a long journey. And just, a couple of trains on that, we're looking at $16 million. So we'll speed things up so that the money keeps coming in, because we're going to need it. And we'll set about designing our train. So what we want to do is we want to aim for this. There's a couple of ways we can do it. We can either go left side or right side. I'm going to go right side. I'm going to come in this direction here, and then the train line will go through there. We'll have to probably dig a tunnel for that thing so that we don't get interference from these roads. We'll have to destroy these roads here. Thatcham will have to go this way and that way, but probably not this way. So we're going to destroy these roads, build a tunnel under there. We're going to drop a station in around here somewhere, so we'll remove this road here because we don't really need it. Unfortunately, we can't build a station between all these and connect them. The distance is just too great. So what we'll have to do is build our station here, and then we'll have to truck our grain in. We'll just hit one of the farms for now. I found by playing this game, if you try to bring in grain from both of them, the industry will just have a preference for one. It will just take all the grain from one and none from the other, and your trucks just waste their time. So we'll build one up first, build a second one later. We will build this as a through station just in case we ever want to come down here for whatever reason. maybe on a passenger run through Thatcham later in life. So we'll, there's no reason to build it as a terminus. So what we'll do is we'll bring up the building. We'll have a cargo station. 160 meters. No, we'll make that 240. We'll leave it as standard speed for now. We'll have Kateri on, and we could just do with one for now, I think. Yeah, thinking about it. Yeah, one for now is okay. We'll just spin that around and point it in the right direction, approximately. Now let's just check if we can route later. We probably want it a little bit more like that, and then we'll just turn the track. We can afford to come over a little bit. So if we do that, that will set us up better later. Because they're stopping here, they'll be slowing down anyway, so it's no big deal. We'll connect them up. Now notice our little mud track roads have now gone because of the year that we've got to. I think it's about 1920 or 25. You stop being able to make these dirt track roads, and you start to have to build cobbled roads like that. So we'll just double check that's in catchment. Yes, it is, because it's highlighted. And then we will pause the game because we're going to have to disconnect the main road here. We're going to have to get rid of a few of these roads here. It's going to cost us a few bob to do this. There we go. That cost a bit of money. But unfortunately, we have to do it. And then we'll build track, and we'll do normal speed track for now. High speed is for, well, high speed trains, which we won't be getting yet. These will do us up to, what is it, 300 or 250 Ks. It's quite a bit. We'll click on parallel tracks, number of tracks 2, spacing nothing, because I want it to build a double track line for us, and we'll bring it like through there like that. So we'll do that, and you can see it automatically place the second one for us, which saved us a bit of work. And then we'll bring that into here, like this, and you can see it double tracks is in, but what we then want to do is just trim that back. We'll get rid of the double track now, and then we just merge it in like this, exactly as we've done before. There you go. So that's as it stands for now. Actually, you're probably thinking about it. Well, I'm changing my mind slightly here, but it would be better for future proofing if we bring the outer track in like that. Bring the outer track in and just merge it like that. That will be better, because later on when we expand this platform out that way, we can build more track and easily adjust it later. But that will do for now. This connection here is probably an industrial one with no traffic on it. Yes, correct. Which means we can just go and destroy that. We don't actually need that road at all. Rather than just have these weird roads lying around, I'd rather just get rid of them. And the city can grow that way if it wants to. And then we'll put it back on double track, and we'll go this direction here. Something like that. Okay, it's actually decided to build the... I wish there was an undo button on Transport Fever. That's the problem with mods. But anyway, you can see it's built it on the wrong side from what I wanted, so I'm going to have to go and delete that. Therefore, I didn't benefit in any way from the mod. And then we'll put that button, turn that off, and we'll simply drag it. We'll find the other track. There it is. There. So we double track all the way through. It's not too expensive so far. It's quite flat ground around here. Now, thinking about where we want this one to go, here's the actual place we're going to take it. So I'm thinking we'll have the station here. Now, we've already got a station in Loughton, so you might think, well, why not just turn that way and bring it into here? And that is an entirely valid thing to do. In fact, we could still do that. The problem is we'd then have to truck the stuff over there and then truck the goods back out again. And then, you know what I mean? It's just have another station. Why not? Cities have more than one station. London's got 4, 5 major stations. Like, why not? Just different parts of the city. And because of the where it is, we are going to make this a terminal station. We'll make it a terminal cargo terminus because it's not going to go anywhere else, is it? I mean, okay, it could tunnel out later. In fact, it could tunnel out later. So let's not tie ourselves in. I was going to make it terminus, but we won't. We'll not. We could, in theory, punch out that way. I think it's unlikely we will. But as I said to you before, if you don't have to, then don't make it a terminus. So we'll live by those words, shall we? And we're going to make it a bit like this. We'll keep it far enough out of town that we can get people over here. In this particular case, I want to make it 3-track. But actually, no, what I'll do is I'll make it 1-track for now. We shall expand it later. I'm going to put the cargo on the left side as we look at it and then link it in with a little road. But what I'm thinking I'll do is we'll have another couple of tracks and a passenger platform and then a passenger terminus on that side. And then we'll have a high-speed kind of bus or tram link or something back into the town to get them here. That's what I'm thinking in terms of where I want to go with this. Then the only thing to do is make sure these are connected. That. And then all of this is not needed. We don't need any of that. It can all just go. There we go. Now, if we click on this, that's now connected to that. Beautiful. So then we just need to think about this road here. Again, not needed in any way. Don't care about this. You can leave it if you want to for the aesthetics. I mean, there's not going to get any traffic down there anyway, but personally, I'd just rather get rid of it. You've got these kind of independent industries that aren't really doing anything. They just get in the way of your tracks, so I'll just get rid of them. But your view may differ to mine. So we'll do that. We'll link that in, and then we'll bring this track over to here. And then we'll finally just merge that in. Okay, so that's a pretty high-speed run between those two. A couple of things we need to do now are we need to obviously truck the grain from. We'll probably take this one rather than that one because we know our station's going to build out that way, and I'm not sure how far it'll get before we bring that online. We'll just take this one for now. We'll have some trucks come into here, so we need to do that. We just need to connect into this road. Now, we do care about the speed of this road. We'll make it an 80k because we want it to be nice and quick. In fact, if I just get rid of that road there, and then we'll drop in this one, which is the highest speed, and then connect that to that one. And then we can nick this one and bring it this way. What do we want it to go to? I think it's going to have to be... These are actually... These fields here are just graphics. This is the actual industry here. This is the thing we need to link into, so we'll do that first. We'll get rid of that road there. And then connect that like that. And then the only thing we need is to have a truck station. So we'll have a truck station like this. We're going to do it like that. It's going to be purely a pickup station. So we're going to have to have it, let's think, I want it this way, don't I? I think. Is it that way or is it the other way? I can't remember now. I think it's that. Let me just have a look at my other ones. Not that one, that one. There you go. So we want it to be like, it's like that, isn't it? I believe. And the road comes in from one side and goes out the other. It's the one-way system. We'll figure it out in a second. So we want them to come in from one side and basically turn out the other way. As long as they're near enough to that thing, they'll connect in just fine. Because the grain might build up, we want to be able to build the platform length that way. So we should only ever need one platform, so we'll reduce the cost and do that. Like this. And what we'll then do is we'll configure it. And we'll have more cargo space because the grain will need somewhere to build up. Don't want to go too silly on it, but it will need somewhere to build up. And then we'll have street access. We'll have an entrance over here. We'll have an exit over there. And then, can we build one-way roads now? Yes, we can. Beautiful. So then we just build a one-way road back like that. That doesn't really matter which, does it? There we go. So that will do that. So that should now be a pickup for that, which it is. Same thing over here, but we don't need to put it there. We can just as easily put it anywhere here. So we'll build a building, similar thing. We'll come in like this. Now this is a drop-off only. So we don't need to change the length of the platform because nothing is ever going to be picked up from here. Or is it? Grain's going to be dropped off. Food's yes, no, food's going to be dropped. Actually, we could put the food platform station could go on this side. It doesn't need to go on that side. It only needs to connect to this station here. And that there, actually. Yeah, the grain's got to hit that. So this has to connect in with this thing. So let me just get rid of that. And we will reconfigure slightly. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll bring the road around this way and we shall drop off the stuff. This will be a drop off only though. Before we do that, we'll upgrade that road because we want it to be quite a better speed now. So I'm thinking as I'm going through, I'm thinking the problem out. I haven't already thought about this. So yeah, we'll have the station like here. You could even do it like that if you wanted to, but we'll do it this way. So we have it like this. It'll make sense in a second. We'll configure that. Delete the in road. That will be the out road. And then we'll go to one way. And straight. So the input will be here. The output will be there. Now, if you click that, it is connected to the station and it's also connected to the factory. The factory is the important one for this because the grain needs to drop there, which will deliver it to here. That will then convert it into alcohol. And since the platform and the alcohol are within range, the alcohol will go to the platform. It will then be transported to here where it's converted into food. The food will come back and it's when it's dropped at the platform here, it will need to go somewhere. And that somewhere is another truck station because we're going to truck it into town. So we have a second truck station, but this will need to be longer because it will need to buffer stuff while the trucks are on the way back kind of thing, if that makes sense. So we shall orient this like so. And we'll push it further down this way because we're going to build the platform length out a bit. It only has to, we don't care about the factory at this point. This is incoming food from the station. So it just has to be within range of this thing, not this thing. And it's important to get that understanding correct in your mind about what you're trying to do. So I'm just trying to think the best way to link these two. If we have a street coming from this town, it would kind of come in like this. This would allow us to truck it straight into there, wouldn't it? So we have it coming in like this, and then we have the building can be sat oriented. Whoops, not sure where I just pressed. Building can be sat oriented like that. And we can just connect the road straight in there. And that way we can build that way. So we're not limiting ourselves in any way. So we do that, and then bring the road down to here like this. And then we figure that, get rid of this, and then we build the cargo platform out. And then we have an entrance there, and we have an exit here. I hope this is making some sense. It probably looks a little bit confusing at the moment, but if we have a look at it in a sec, hopefully it might make a bit more sense. So yeah, there you go. They're all connected. The important thing to understand is the small truck stop is because it's only a drop. It instantly gets absorbed by the factory. Whereas when stuff comes back via the station, it needs to be buffered. It builds up here before it's trucked away. So by driving back this way and picking up and then driving out, we can create that loop and buffer it there. That is now ready to rock and roll. The only thing now is to consider this side of the equation. We've got a link to the factory, so the drop-off, that will all work fine. If we want to truck the food in there, we'll need to build a truck depot to truck it in. But for now, just to get the line up and running, we'll just have it as it is. What we'll need is a depot, though, for the trains. So if we build a depot somewhere innocuous like this, in the middle of nowhere, what we can then do is, and we've not done one of these before, so I'll show you this. Basically, if we go to the outside track like that, and then on this one, the inside track like that, then we can feed trains onto this line in either direction. And it just gives us a few more options. So now we're going to go to signals. We'll click on one way. We'll have auto sig at 400 meters. And what I like to do is just start. So this would be our endpoint coming back this way. So if go to the other side of the track there and click, and it should put them down all the way up to that junction here, roughly. You want one just after the junction, and then one just before it. If it didn't put that down, put it down yourself. And then after that, you just continue on your way again, all the way down. And then you need a final one. Oh, there's a broken bit of track there. Look at that. Let me just delete that and that, because I had a broken piece of track. So I just want to make sure it puts them in the right place. So you want them like this. And then ideally, you probably want one just before the merge. And then coming back, you can do the same thing. We can click them here like this. That will continue all the way to, was it stopped? Stopped. Was one. Yeah, it stopped just before the merge, which is there. And then just after the merge, we'll carry on like that. And that should take us all the way to the station merge, which is there. Perfect. So that's how we get all the signaling done. And this depot can feed in either direction now, north and south, as we look at it. Last thing to do is fix this problem up here, which is the road, because we disconnected a main road somewhere, didn't we? Was it here? Yeah, here, Thatcham. So we need to get this road connected in. This is, there's no super cheap way of doing this, but we can just keep the cost down by doing, like a medium speed and just bridging over the top. That will keep them happy. This is the end of the town road. This is now our high-speed road, if you like. So what we can do is just like that to raise it up like this. It doesn't need to be quite so high, so we'll drop it down a bit. For this one, I think we'll have no bridge like that. Actually, no, that looks terrible. Oh, the options are so limited. I love the stone bridge, but the speed limit is 90k. But at this point in time, we probably don't care. We can always just, trash it later. Does it look good? It looks a bit busy. So maybe the box girder, rusty old box girder like that. Maybe a green one. Something like that. That's 223,000. Yeah, it's fine. We could do it cheaper, but for now, that'll do. We will replace stuff later when we've got silly money. Now we can unpause it and let the money carry on flowing back in, because we've just hemorrhaged a lot of money. And then we need to begin making this work. So just to remind ourselves, it's going to be grain to here, then it's going to be grain to alcohol to there, food back, food into Thatcham. So the last thing we need is our drop-off point. So if we go to buildings and then truck unload, we want to figure out where the food needs to go. We can see it here. So a truck stop anywhere around here. So that's tram. A truck stop around here should do it. I'm curious as to why these ones here are missing. That's interesting. As soon as I go to that side of the road there, look, those get missed out. I've never seen that before. That's kind of weird. Well, anyway, we'll do a drop off there, and what we'll do is we'll just quickly link these roads back up, just so that we've got a little circuit for our trucks. They can kind of come down here, drop off, and then they can kind of loop back that way. We also need a road depot for everything, so we'll build a building, road depot. And we'll drop that in. Anywhere out of town will do. That'll do. Okay, so this is Thatcham. So we'll have a new line. We'll have trucks. We'll call them Thatcham Grain 1. I'm calling it 1 because we know we need to do another one later. This one here, but this is line number 1, obviously. So we'll drop that to there. And then we want another new line. This time we want, let's see, Thatcham food. So this is the final drop for the food. That can be got reddish colour. Why not? Thatcham. Wait. Okay. 1 second. The wrong one clicked somehow. Thatcham grain. Add station. And it's going to be from this side this time. And it's going to that drop off there. Thatcham green is a drop only, so it can never pick anything up. It can never bring anything back to the station. So we need to worry about filtering that. And this is just a pickup only. So we don't need any filters on this section. Next thing we want is a rail line for this. So this is going to be a rail line, which is going to be Thatcham. This is the Loughton, isn't it? Thatcham, Loughton. And then it's going to be alcohol food. Quite a long name. And we'll give that a strange colour. There you go, about that. And then we want to pick up from this cargo and we want to go to this cargo. Now, obviously, if that line connection doesn't work, it means you've got your one-way signalling wrong. So if it suddenly says, you know, error, just have a look at your signals. You'll probably just misplace one somewhere, but it should look like this. It should go up the right side and back down the left. That's how it should all work. The other thing to think about is, let's get rid of that, what we're going to take. Does it matter what we take? Yeah, no. I mean, the problem is, if you don't filter stuff, then later on in the game, you'll find all kinds of weird and wonderful goods start getting moved around the trains that you didn't realise was going to happen. It does happen. So with Thatcham, what we're going to do is we're only going to load alcohol. If you can find it in this list. It's a little barrel, isn't it? There it is. Alcohol. And then when it gets to Loughton, the only thing it's going to load will be food, which is that one there. Do we want it to wait till full? If you ever wanted to wait till full, because it is a long run, then, you know, keep the wait time down, is my advice. Have it wait, but not for too long. With a grain pickup, it can tend to just take whatever's there, you know. That's that done. And then the final bit of the jigsaw, no, that's it. We're not doing the food yet. So we need to get line established. That's always a tricky bit. It starts with the trucks, obviously. So we'll maybe just kick out one truck. Take the biggest cargo truck that will take grain, which is that one. Take one truck and we'll just assign it straight onto the Thatcham grain, which is like a yellowy colour. Like that. That'll kick him off. He'll come out and start doing his thing. We need to also build a train, and we need to build another truck over here. So this is going to be a food drop-off. So that's going to be like a reddish colour. So we'll put him on that. So that establishes that. So the only thing missing now is the expensive one, which is the train line. Food's already being deposited here, so that's good. We can start to think about our train in a minute. But what we'll do, we'll just let it run. Actually, the food is actually piling up quite quickly, so we'll drop a few more vehicles in there just to get some grain moved, so that when we build the train, it's not waiting for absolutely nothing. Because they are expensive to run trains. This will not see any consumers just yet, but it should. What's that station called? Loughton Food Processing Plant. This one here. We should see that as a destination soon. But what we'll do is we'll think about our train while we're waiting. It's quite a flat track, so we don't need a huge amount of tractive effort. We haven't got any diesel trains yet, because diesels are amazing in this game. Diesels are so good. But for now, if you want to do it at high speed, you probably want like an A. This is too much. There's too much tractive effort for what we need. That'll do 90 Ks, 85 kilonewtons. Even that is, for what we need at the moment, overkill slightly. But, you know, we can go at 90 Ks, so it's a tricky one. We can probably stomach 300 grand a year running costs initially. I don't want to do an A35 because we just don't need that tractive effort. We'll get up to speed fairly quickly, and I'll show you in a second how we know that. What we need to do, and this is the annoying thing, is we need to take alcohol and bring food back. And food goes in one of these box cars. Oh, alcohol does as well. Oh, that's fantastic. That's even better than doing the grain thing. So if we was doing grain to food, we would have to take a gondola to take the grain, and then we can't bring the food back because the food comes back in a boxcar. But with the alcohol as an intermediary, we can take the alcohol one way and the food the other, which is pure win-win. Now, these boxcars go 80k, so if we add, let's make it like a 120-meter train, something like that, 88 capacity. We can do up to 240. That'll do for now, probably. That's a $6.2 million train. If we look at the performance of it by hovering over this thing, on the flat, that will reach 80 Ks in 102 seconds. And we are relatively on the flat. So 102 seconds to get to top speed. If we swap that locomotive for the A35, it will get to top speed in 69 seconds. And then after that, it's going 80 Ks all the way. Exactly the same. So we're saving 33 seconds getting to top speed by more than doubling our running cost. I say to you, it's not worth it. We'll stick to that. It's a 6.2 million and the running cost of 355 as opposed to 617. Yeah. So we go one of those. We'll buy that. And then we'll stick it on the Thatcham line, which is like a purplish colour. Actually, I think it was like that, wasn't it? Stick it on there. Right. Now, we sit back and wait. It's got some grain, but it doesn't know what to do with it. It's producing stuff, but it's not assigned it anywhere yet because we need this train to sort of establish the link. So, right, we'll just give that a minute and then see how it gets established. Right, so, later in the year, I can't remember if it's been 18 months or 12 months, things have established themselves a little bit now, and if you look, this train is now making pretty good money. In the previous 6 months, it brought in 3 million and had expenses of less than $1 million, so it's doing pretty well. It's coming back with a good sizable chunk of food. I have made a couple of tweaks. So one of the things I've had to do, I've left the train alone. The train's working just fine. You can see it's, by the time it gets in, it's almost going to have a full load of alcohol. This thing has already leveled up once. Production is good. It has a good store of grain. I had to add more trucks onto this network, so this is almost a constant supply of pick-up, drop, pick-up, drop, pick-up, drop. It's almost saturated, like any more trucks, and probably they'll be queuing up with each other. We'll have a different kind of problem. Over here, we've got the food drop-off, the food return. You can see they're struggling to shift all of that stuff, so we'll probably need to double the amount of trucks now dropping off the food into Thatcham. Thatcham itself is taking food and now growing. Its population's now growing. What I have done, though, is added this bit of road with a truck station because the alcohol we're bringing in is producing 2 food. And the train, like if the train was full of alcohol, the boxcars can't cope with double the amount of product going back. So we have a surplus of food. So I've dropped that in to get a food drop-off going over at Loughton. You can see it's just starting to kick off. Because this thing has got alcohol and a lot of food being produced. And once it levels up, it's going to go crazy. But, and the final thing I've done is pay off the loan. So we are now in a very nice position, I would say. We've got $20 million in the bank. We owe nothing. We're paying no interest, so we've reduced our expenses. And we have a good food network, and we're now growing Loughton even more, and we're growing Thatcham as well. We're now set up quite nicely here because we've got 4 cities on the go now that are growing and money in the bank to allow us to tweak this network and put the trains on it that are going to maximize our profit. But that is it for this episode, and I do hope you've enjoyed it, and please give me a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to tell your friends about the series if you think they'll enjoy it. Share it with your friends, and subscribe if you're new here and you're not subbed. Please think about subscribing. And I shall see you on the next episode. Until then, take care, guys. Happy transporting.